shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground. The angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around. Fear not, said he, for mighty dread had seized their troubled minds. Glad tidings of great joy I bring to you and all mankind. Mankind, glad tidings of great joy I bring to you and all mankind. To you in David's town this day is born of David's line a Saviour who is Christ the Lord, and this shall be the sign. The heavenly babe you there shall find, to human view displayed, all meanly wrapped in swaddling bands, and in a manger laid. All meanly wrapped in swaddling bands, and in a manger laid. Thus spake the seraph, and forthwith appeared a shining throng of angels praising God, who thus addressed their joyful song. Song of angels praising God, who thus addressed their joyful song. All glory be to God on high, and to the earth be peace. Goodwill henceforth from heaven to men, begin and never cease. Goodwill henceforth from heaven to men, begin and never cease. Shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground. The angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around. Around. The angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around. Around. The angel of the Lord came down, glory shone around. The angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around.
Grandfather Christmas was old Neddy Saker. He's dead and gone. He died down in Orpington Hospital. And then, well, they're all gone. St. George and the Turkish Knight and the Bold Slasher and Scots and Scars, yes. The Doctor, they're all gone.
There is time and time. There's time that moves in straight lines, that is counted in breaths and heartbeats, in cradles and graves and diminishing days. From this time choose a year, any year. 1750 perhaps, or 1849, or 1905, or 1938, a year that's gone and will never reappear. And then there's time that moves in circles, time that always is, over and over, that is measured in heat and chill, in light and dark, in seasons of love and hunger. From this time choose an afternoon, a midwinter's afternoon. The pale sinking sun has failed to thaw the ground. The ragged hedges and bare trees are rimed with white frost. Water is glass, earth is stone, breath is cloud. Night begins to tighten its hold. Every one of us, living or dead, has known this moment. Now, let any one of those lost, forgotten years meet this moment. Let the time meet the season. And let it be anywhere in England, Cookham Dean, Spenny Moor, Marshfield, Middle Raisin, Chiddingfold, Helpston, Overton, Evesham, Simmonsbury, Boston Bridge. Stand back and watch. Listen. It's always the same. Here they come, 7 of them, men and boys tramping the frozen lane, a little unsteady on their feet, cigarettes or clay pipes glowing red against faces that have been blacked with soot and grease. Their hats are stuck all over with wood shavings and shreds of coloured paper, reds, yellows, blues, whites. Their smocks and coats are festooned with bright ribbons and rags, blacks, purples, golds and greens, and wooden swords hang down to their knees like lost gods from some forgotten continent.
That was our heaviest expense, you know, £half for a grandfather Christmas mask. And there was an old girl named Edwards down the road. She used to keep a little shop. And she used to order it for us. We used to pay £half for that. That was money then, you know. And then we're coming home from Ainsfield one night, bright moonlight night, and it was all ice, you know, and the old clods in the hopfield where we were coming was just like concrete, so frozen up. And old Neddy Saker, grandfather Christmas, he wouldn't take he used to keep walking from Ainsford to Shoreham, still got his mask on, he wouldn't take it off, you know. And he got the hiccups and fell off over in his hop. Oh my God. Well, and he had the, oh dear, he was going to sit about a lot of us. But because we were all laughing like that. Oh yes, at least there's some fun out of it.
Look, they're entering the driveway of the next big house. There's always a big house. To one side of them there's always a yew hedge and behind it a walled kitchen garden. To the other a dark lawn. Ahead of them raked gravel always sweeps round to steps and a front door. Windows are bright with yellow light. Outside it's night now, and the stars in their constellations waken one by one and watch from their winter stations the dwindling of the sun. The hunter with his shining belt, the bull with lowered horns, the greyhound and her brindled whelp, the hair in silver corn, the 7 dancing girls who kick the sky into a blaze, the toppled churn that tips its light across the Milky Way. Bill Willis tilts his head back and stares up at the stars. It's all down to how you line 'em up. Will Mash lights a lantern, swings it round. Look, you can see their faces now, pinched with hunger beneath the grease, trousers hitched up with string under the coloured rags, boots held and clinched with penny patches. They tramp the drive, climb the steps, lift the wooden pommels of their swords and rat-tat-tat-tat against the front door. It swings open, and their faces are met with light and heat and all the sweet and meaty smells of the Christmas season. The cry goes up, it's the 7 champions, it's the Jolly Boys, the Geysers, the Tip-Tearers, the Johnny Jacks. Tables are pushed back against walls, and all the household fills the room. Cooks, housemaids, grooms, under-housemaids, gardeners. The family of the house are seated at the front. Above and around them the Christmas leaves, holly, box, ivy, yew, hang from beams and lintels and mantelpieces, so that with the blazing fire it's as though the heat and green of summer has retreated indoors. And now the play begins.
In comes I, old Scots and Scars, just come from the raging wars. Many a battle have I been in, many a battle have I seen through St. George our King. St. George was the second one on. St. George, when he draws his sword, he's got to have a fight with the Turkish knight.
In comes I, the Turkish knight.
Just come from the Turkish land to fight. I'll fight with thee, St. George, that man of courage bold, and if your blood is so hot, I'll quickly fetch it cold. Then have an old belt and a wooden sword, see? Well, you've got to have, you see, and then Bow Slasher, when he comes in, he's got to have one to part 'em. In comes I, old Bow Slasher. Bow Slasher is my name. With my long sword and spear, I will part these 2 young men. Now that's all there is in that.
Yes.
He's the simplest of the lot. But the doctor's got a little bottle on a belt. When he puts 3 drops on this man's nose, he cures all aches and pains. He lives to fight again. He cures all aches and pains. He lives to fight again. He cures all aches and pains. He lives to fight again. He cures all aches and pains. He lives to fight again.
And here we see both strands of time knot and intertwine into such a tangle that nobody could loosen it. Our players in their rags and tatters, Jack Pattenden, Herbie Smith, Johnny Johnson, Bill Willis, Neddy Saker, Will Mash and little Tom Warren, who've been tucked in their graves these 20, 80, 200 winters, are become St. George, Bold Slasher, the Turkish Knight, the Doctor, Grandfather Christmas, Johnny Jack and Scots and Scars, characters as constant as the constellations, who cannot die but are bound to return in the chill season and earn a few coppers for Christmas cheer and drink a glass or 2 of beer and play out the resurrection of the year.
and Father Christmas coming from the cold. I've a story to sing to you that's new as it's old. Such stars as I've called upon to play out their parts, they'll dazzle your eyes, they'll quicken your heart. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from head down to foot. Here is 1, 2, 3 jolly boys all ready for a fight. And the first that comes in is our bold Turkish knight. I come from the east where the red dawn does break. I'll stamp and I'll storm and I'll make your world shake. I'll cut you to shreds, I'll swish and I'll swagger. Oh, and I'll make you dance upon the tip of my dagger. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from head down to foot. Our actors are cast in the furnace and forge, and the next that comes in is our hero St. George. I have come from the west where the red sun does set. Well met, bold turkey, well met. I'll slit you, I'll slice you, we'll see the gore fly. Oh, I'll send you home in a calico pie. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from head down to foot. Here is rattle, is clatter, is tumult and din. Stand back, and let battle begin. Slasher, I'm as brave as a bear. I'll stop all their carting and their strutting, I swear. I'll bang both their heads with my hammer and tongs, for I am the man who will right all their wrongs. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from head down to foot. Bold Slasher wades in through the thin and the thick, but he soon drops down wounded, he's cut to the quick. Stand back, St. George, and put down your blade, for here on the ground lies the hero we have slayed. He was caught in our crossfire, see what we've done. We have killed our own brother beneath the evening sun. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from her head down to foot. Oh, and is there a doctor in here to be found for to cure our bold brother of his deadly wound?
Yes, there is a doctor to be found. St. George says to him, what can you cure, doctor? Oh, he says, I can cure ipsy, pipsy, palsy and the gout. They are the pains that run in and out. And if you
Or a broken leg or a
broken neck, I can quickly cure the pain. Now, clever doctor, what is your fee? 1 guinea is my fee, but £1 I'll take from thee. Take it, doctor. Then he bends down and he's got this little bottle. He holds it up and he says, now, I have a little bottle here that cures all aches and pains. I'll put 3 drops on this man's nose and he shall rise and fight again. Well, us boys, you know, we used to put all the blinking, stinking stuff we could find in this bottle. Go in an old car shed and get some urine. And poor old Charlie Lloyd laying on his back making out he's dead. And young Harry Blake used to put a couple of drops of... After all them capers, you know.
I am the physician and my name is Dr. Quack. If the life has gone out of him, I'll soon fetch it back. I've potions, I've poisons, I've pills in great store, but the fee for my services is £10 or more. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from head down to foot. Oh, the doctor's been paid, his bottle is poised. Now well, let's have some shush. Hold your breath, make no noise. 3 drops to his head, 4 drops to his heart. Now rise up, old slasher, and play out your part. He stirs, he rises, see how he stands. He's a front parlour miracle, he's the best in all the land. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from head down to foot. Oh, tell us, bold slasher, where have you been? Oh, and tell us, bold slasher, now what have you seen? I've spun once around like the moon across the field. I've dipped into dust and my wounds were all healed. I've waned, I've waxed, and I've danced free of death, so that all here might sing of me as long as you have breath. Here is rags and his tatters, his sweat and his soot. Here is England in ribbons from head down to foot. And if we all live till another new year, perhaps we may call and see who does live here.
And when the play's done, and Johnny Jack takes his bowler hat round to each in turn, and gathers his thin crop of farthings, every eye's on the master of the house, as he rises to his feet and thrusts his hand deep into the pocket of his breeches. He drops a fat coin into the hat. Is it sovereign or half crown? Johnny Jack turns and winks at St. George. The master of the house turns to the cook, smiling with all the kindness of the season that won't outlast Twelfth Night. Take these geysers to the kitchen and don't spare the ham, and fill their mugs from the Christmas barrel. He knows as well as any it'd be ill luck otherwise, and they're bustled down to the scrubbed table, and they gulp down as much as they're able, and then tumble out, unsteadier yet, into the dark, sudden silence of the night. Already Johnny Johnson, with an expert touch, is counting coins against his fingers. At the end of the drive he whistles through his teeth. 5 and a tanner each, I reckon. Bill Willis puts his hand on little Tom Warren's shoulder. He points his pipe stem at the sky. It's all down to how you line 'em up, boy. There's Scots and scars, all bandaged with stars. There's St. George in belt and braces. There's Grandfather Christmas, the gaffer himself, who keeps us in our traces. There's old Dr. Quack with his pack on his back. There's Turkey's crescent blade. And there's the 7 silver drops that'll wake bold Slasher from his grave. And Johnny Jack has filled his hat with all the Milky Way.
Grandfather Christmas was old Eddie Saker. He's dead and gone. He died down in Orpington Hospital. And then, well, they're all gone. St. George and the Turkish Knight and Bold Slasher and Scots and Scars, yes. The Doctor, they're all gone. But the doctor's got a little bottle on a belt. When he puts 3 drops on this man's nose, he cures all aches and pains. He lives to fight again.
Shepherds arise, be not afraid. steps prepare. To David's city sent on earth,
with our blessed
with our blessed infant there, with our blessed infant there, with our blessed infant there. Sing, sing, all earth, sing, sing, all earth, eternal praises sing
to our Redeemer,
to our Redeemer and our heavenly King, laid in a manger viewed a child, humility divine, sweet innocence, sounds meek and mild,
grace in his feet,
grace in his features shine, grace in his features shine, grace in his features shine. Sing, sing, all earth, sing, sing, all earth, eternal praises sing
to our Redeemer,
to our Redeemer and our heavenly King. For us our Savior came on earth, for us his life he gave, to save us from eternal death,
and to raise us from
and to raise us from the grave, to raise us from the grave, to raise us from the grave. Sing, sing, all earth, sing, sing, all earth, eternal praises sing
to our Redeemer,
to our Redeemer and our heavenly King. Sing, sing, all earth, sing, sing.